Charles, we came across a very interesting thing, Kabaka Birthday Run, which is very famous in Uganda. So, if you could please tell us more about this event.
I would like to make a simple correction on the
Sure.
pronunciation.
Yeah,
You said Kabaka.
yeah,
So it is Kabaka.
Kabaka.
Yes.
So Kabaka is the king
Uh-huh.
of Buganda
Oh,
kingdom.
yeah, yeah.
So the current king is
Mhm.
today 68 years of
Mhm.
age. He turned 68 this Sunday on 16th April 2023.
Wow.
He turned 68. So they came up with this idea of the Kabaka birthday run. That
Mhm.
every day he clocks a certain age, they organize this important function,
Yeah.
whereby 1,000 of people come up and involve or get engaged in this run. They hit the road. Very many people. When you Google the pictures, you see very many people,
Wow.
thousands of people on the road running. And you see, it started in 2013. So this year, 2023, it's making a decade. This
Oh.
Kabaka birthday run.
Yeah.
This event is very, very important in a sense that every year it's organized, it's under a given theme.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the past 3 years, including this year,
Mhm.
it was under a theme to fight against HIV AIDS
Yeah.
disease. So
Mhm.
the other past years, it was other themes. They talking about sickle cell, to fight against sickle cell,
Sickle cell,
fistula disease also. So they actually mostly bring up these themes which are related to health issues and education sometimes. So each year a theme is there, and they are supporting. For example, this year they're talking about fight against HIV. Uganda has a target that by 2030, it's in their vision, it's called Vision 2030, that they end the spread of HIV. So when the Kabaka birthday run is organized under such a theme, they are spreading awareness to the public. And also, this is not an event that is organized that people will come free and then participate. No, it's not like that. What happens, people come up, those who are willing to participate, there is a fee they pay and buy the marathon kit. This is like a t-shirt or a vest that is written on Kabaka birthday run. Normally it's red in color. Why? Because Airtel is a telecommunication company. So you have Airtel Uganda.
Wow.
So it's a company that always supports this and puts in finances. So with those finances, the fund the Airtel puts in, and then the people bring this money through those purchase of the kits. All this is put in the theme. If they're talking about fight against HIV, they are going to put in this money or this to enable the goal of fighting against the disease HIV. If it's fighting against sickle cell, that is the plan. And then if it is about maybe enrolling more children in schools, in education, so they will be able to support that theme.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, these amazing things happen when we have women in leadership roles and governance. Yeah. Charles, so another very interesting event related to education that is happening, that the government is planning to introduce new subjects like science, social studies and Swahili in primary 1, 2 and 3. Earlier it was from 4th grade, I think.
Yes.
Swahili language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, that shows that how particular the government is about continuously reforming the education system. So if you could please tell us more about the education system in Uganda, how it is in the rural and urban areas like that.
Well, talking about the education system in Uganda, the structure is not so complex. After a child completes nursery, that's pre-primary, maybe at the age of 5, 6, he or she will enroll for primary level. This primary level takes only 7 years. So after the primary level, 7 years, the kid is going to join high school. Sometimes it's called the secondary education after primary. So this takes only 6 years. But our secondary level is divided into two. There is the first part, which is the ordinary level, which we simply call O level. So O level has 4 years. The student will study for 4 years. At the end of the 4 years, he or she does the final examination, which is set by the National Examination Board. We call it UNEB, Uganda National Examination Board, and that will qualify the student to get a certificate, which you call the UCE, Uganda Certificate of Education. The student has not yet completed the secondary level. He continues with the 2 years of advanced level. After the O level, A level comes in, the advanced level. So these are the 2 years. He has been studying, for example, many subjects, like 12 subjects, 10 subjects. So he's going to specify at A level, where he's going to choose his or her best subjects, her interests or his interests. So a student may either choose, the student has to choose from, choose only 3 core subjects with a subsidiary subject and general paper. So the subjects, maybe if he's taking sciences, may choose a combination PC, which is physics, chemistry, biology, stroke mathematics, and general paper. So when the student finishes, or maybe other subjects like history, economics comes in there. So when the student finishes the advanced level or the A level, is going to join the tertiary institution, which is the university. So after secondary level, he joins the university level. So the university level, this depends on the course that the student is going to enroll in. You can spend there like 3 years minimum for a bachelor degree course, or maybe 5 years if it is a course, if it is maybe a bachelor of medicine, engineering, those take like 5 years. But courses like education, I did education. I'm a biology teacher, by the way. So I spent 3 years after secondary school at the university studying how to teach biology and chemistry. So after that, you immediately after that, then you can be able to get a job. But you mentioned something to do with Swahili. Swahili is a language that is shared actually by East Africa. Uganda is in East Africa. So Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, all these countries are in Eastern Africa. So Uganda has been lagging behind the other East African countries, I can say. Why? Because in Kenya and Tanzania and Rwanda, you will find the majority of the population, the language is spoken there is Swahili. So all Kenyans speak Swahili. They share one language. Like I said, in Uganda, we have many, like 50 languages in the country. So communication. I come from Western Uganda, but if I'm to communicate with someone from northern part of Uganda, I must use English. That's the only way. Because I don't understand their language. I don't understand Acholi. For those people, some of them speak Acholi. So I don't understand those languages. I only know my language. I know my language, which is Runyoro. I come from Bunyoro region. And Uganda, which is Uganda region. So it's interesting like that. So now the government is introducing Swahili so that we all share one language in the country. Communication will be easy also with the other East African countries. So it has enrolled this into the education system, whereby in secondary education, the new curriculum, which was enrolled in 2020, just of recent, they changed the curriculum. The old curriculum didn't have such say language like Swahili being taught, but now they are making the language Swahili to be compulsory for all the students. So at the secondary level, they will be learning this language. So the education system is actually evolving and changing. Of the past, the old curriculum was more of teacher-centered, whereby they just teach and they don't involve the learner, and the students don't get more of the skill. But this new curriculum, we are calling it the competency-based curriculum, the competency-based CBC curriculum. So this curriculum is more of, it is looking at developing the learner's skills, the student's skills, that by the end of the, say, O level, even if a student drops out of school, does not go on with the university level, he is able to start up something because he has gained skills. For example, if so in this new curriculum they're teaching like food and nutrition, so a student who has such O-level certificate, they will get actually another certificate by the Directorate of Industrial Training. So they will get these skills just in the 4 years. So this child or student will be able to do something. If he can start up a business, a restaurant, and be cooking, and that's will be self-employed. So such issues of unemployment are going to be no more in the coming future.
Yeah, so such deep insights about education. I mean, I think only a teacher like you can give. Annette, please tell us about one product from Uganda that you would like our beautiful audience to try.
Yes, again, you know, I told you Uganda is the pearl of Africa.
Exactly.
So we have a number of things you'd like to know about Uganda. And if you come to Uganda, really enjoy whatever I'm talking about. You just have to confirm it. One of the products I would recommend the audience, it is coffee.
Coffee.
You don't know?
Wow.
You say India, you have coffee.
Yeah.
Uganda, we have coffee. Yes, Uganda, we have coffee. Our coffee is so good. When you look at its taste, its smell, the chocolate smell that comes out of it, you really like it. It is one of the products I would recommend for people to buy because it is at international market.
Wow.
Actually, let me tell you, Uganda is among the best 5 countries or the first 5 countries that export coffee at international scale.
Wow.
Yes, to the global market. Yeah, so we are known for that. Our coffee has been recognized at least internationally. You can just go to Amazon, look for Uganda coffee, you'll be able to enjoy it. Yeah.
Wow.
Or else if you come to Uganda, just go to the farmers. You can even see how we grow this coffee. You can touch and feel the coffee leaves. Because we have different varieties, but our coffee is coffee. That's what I can say.
Nice. So,
yes.
Annette, we would like your inputs on how India and Uganda can further engage with each other so that both of them develop together and grow stronger.
That question seems to be hard, but to me it is very simple. Just look at me here. Then ask yourself, how did they come to India? So this is one way of how India and Uganda can continue collaborating together through promoting educational services. Say for example, like educational collaborations, they provide scholarships. Indians can go and study in Uganda, even Ugandans who can come and study here. Now I'm here because of the good relationship between Uganda and India.
True.
And by the way, let me tell you, we have a number of Indians.
Yeah.
I think maybe, don't you think we have the highest number of Indians in Africa?
So many,
Yes, there are very many, and they're involved in different businesses, industrial, education, medical. Actually, Indians are doing well in Uganda.
True.
And that's one of the strongest relationships Uganda has with India. Other than that, business implementation, that is one of them. Education, this is two. What I will not forget about education. Last week, Indian government opened up a branch of National Science Forensic University.
Wow.
Or National Forensic University, that's what I can say. So this is one way of how India is going to help Uganda to grow in terms of security, training these people in forensics. We didn't have all these technologies. So India can come in, because we know India, you're far apart when it comes to technology. Compared to Uganda, we are still behind in terms of technology, we admit. So if India at least can come in also to help Uganda grow in technology, that will be one way of how India can strengthen the relationship between Uganda and India.
True.
Yes.
Yeah, very true. I mean, once people to people contact is there between two countries, I think other engagements will follow.
Yes.
May it be economy, education, geopolitics, etc. People to people contact is the bedrock on which the relationship between two countries flourish. So very rightly mentioned, Annette. Charles, like any myth or misconception about Uganda or Africa in general that you would like to address via this podcast?
Yeah, I think there are many myths or misconception about Africa in general, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But the most common is the misconception of Africa being a poor nation, continent,
Mm-hmm.
Africa being underdeveloped. So I want to say Africa, yes, is still behind.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, let me give this scenario. If I'm walking on the streets of, say, UK, and I meet this white man and looks at me, he will, in his mind, think this man an African. He will think about a man from a poor nation, continent. But that is, I can say, misconception, because let's change this from I think I should repeat it.
This
True, no problem.
perception.
So I can say the misconception that is so common is to say that Africa is a poor continent.
Mm-hmm.
But I can say, let's not call Africa a poor continent just because we have not visited Africa.
True.
When you visit Africa, you realize that it's developing at a very, very high rate.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the, I can say, I saw one of the data by the World Bank, by the way. They published a good data that below ground wealth that is in only one country, Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC,
Yeah.
is times 3 the above ground wealth in the USA. I was amazed. So we have a lot of minerals, and if utilized well, and now the Africans are actually waking up to utilize their minerals to start a lot of factories and industries, and this is making Africa to develop at a very high rate.
Yeah.
And this misconception actually all are going to go away.
Very true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these are like I very often wondered that just by looking at the skin color, as you just mentioned, people make so much of assumptions, and they say that they are educated. And in their education, they have been taught that skin color is decided by geography. It is because a place is close to equator, the skin color is like that. And yet, I mean, they should be ashamed of calling themselves educated if they form so much of stereotypes and assumptions just by the look.
Yeah.
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 So that's how ironical this world is, unfortunately.
So I think we should change this from underdeveloped or poor continent to a developing continent. It sounds better, and that is actually very true. When you come to the ground, you see the continent is developing. And another thing, the diverse culture in the continent, the rate at which people in the continent are getting education is so high. So in the near future, Africa, I think, is going to be somewhere
Exactly.
on top, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
I mean, that is like for sure that it is just a matter of
A
time.
matter of time.
Yeah, and Africa as a continent and all countries will be on a very good growth trajectory and developed in some time. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So, and we will again have this podcast after we are developed countries. And
Yeah.
we'll remind
Yes, we
that,
shall remind them.
Exactly. And I hope our podcast helps to change this narrative and this worldview about us developing countries.
Yes.
That what others think is not always correct, especially when it comes to us developing world.
Yes.
Yeah. Annette, we came across this is something related to women, the midwives of Uganda. So, and we came across a very special person called Miss Eva Nangalo, a midwife at Nakaseke General Hospital. Please correct me in pronunciation. So she is not even having a sound sleep. So she is having all those sleepless nights just to make sure that babies are born healthy, mothers are healthy. So if you could please tell about the midwives or this overall situation in
Yes,
general.
it's good you have said talk about the overall situation.
Yeah.
Actually, Nakaseke, Eva
Mm-hmm.
is one of the lucky people who
Wow.
was able to be captured
Mm-hmm.
to go viral, like because she has been viral all over the world. She has
Oh.
been recognized by Bill Gates.
Yeah.
So you can imagine. But I tell you, there are many midwives in the country that are going through the same hard work, I can say, the same sacrifices that are being made by these midwives.
True.
They don't sleep. They work under poor conditions. That's what I can say. When you look at our health system in the country, I'm sorry to say this, but you need to talk the truth. We are not that well off, especially in rural areas, maybe even in most of the health facilities, they are not well equipped. These midwives go through a lot of challenges. Say, for example, I think you read the article, the way she was using her phone torch to help the mother to deliver. By the way, when I read that story, I just remembered my story. Because when I was giving birth to my daughter, who is the second child they have, the power went off that night.
Wow.
And you know what they did? The nurses were using the same torches. So you can imagine, I'm very far a distance from Nakaseke. So that's what it can be, a journey throughout the country. So many midwives are going through the same, sacrificing their sleep, sacrificing their time, so to help the mothers and children to ensure that they survive throughout the process of delivery. So the only recommendation I would give to the government, at least let them have the basics of power backups. Let them have the basics in the health facilities that can enable these medical personnel also to operate to their maximum, because they are really sacrificing a lot. But when you look at the health facilities, and like I've told you, corruption is killing our countries. Yes.
True.
Because funds are released to go and help these facilities, but they don't reach the intentions because of the corruption.
Very true.
If we can have transparent governments, or if government officials can supervise the government projects, then this one will play a great role to improve the health facilities in the country, and we shall be able to save the lives of the many mothers and even other people in the country, because not only the midwives, but even the nurses or any other medical personnel in different health facilities, they are facing the same challenges. Yes.
True. And the way you are explaining the situation and articulating everything, it looks like I am talking to the ambassador of Uganda. You are so well informed with your own personal
because it is my
experiences.
country.
True.
I have experienced everything from A to Z, because I personally, I didn't grow up from a luxurious home. Actually, if you want to ask about poverty, just ask me. I am just the living example, I can tell. From, actually, I call myself from grass to grace. That is my title. Grass to grace. I am what I am. You can see me now, but you don't know my past. But I know everything you are talking about Uganda.
Yeah.
Because they say if you want to understand the country, don't look at the top. No.
True.
Just go at the local level. You go to rural communities. That's why you will know what is this country about. Even if it is India.
True.
Say, for example, if you go to Delhi, you say, hey, India is the best.
Mm-hmm.
But move to the rural communities, then you will know how much these people are going through. Then you draw your conclusion, and that conclusion will be genuine.
Very true.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that you mentioned that your journey has been from grass to grace.
Yes.
And I would say it is incomplete. You have to reach to that level of greatness. Grass to grace to greatness.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
Yes, I have to put it great now when I have
Exactly.
reached there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I am sure it will happen.
It will, I believe. You know, I have confidence in myself, because
Yeah.
what others can do, I can also make it. Like you said, we are the youth.
Yeah.
So we are responsible for our future.
Mhm.
We are the people to change our countries. We are the people to change our continent. We are the people to change the global south to look like the north. So I believe we can make it together.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I can already see it in your eyes that in your mind you have already, that trajectory is there, that you have to reach there.
Yes, I have
It is just
to.
a matter of time.
Yes.
Yeah. So wow, that is really very encouraging. Charles, we came across an unfortunate, I would say, incident, the Ebola virus outbreak. It had affected a few countries in Africa, and the world did not know the severity of this situation until they themselves experienced coronavirus. And everybody was like ignorant, and then saying that it is a localized thing, not a serious issue. And then when coronavirus struck, they realized the seriousness of the issue. So if you could please explain to what scale was Uganda affected, and what was its impact, and how it was handled.
Uh, the Ebola virus came
Mhm.
actually immediately we had come out of the pandemic of
Oh,
coronavirus.
yeah.
So yes, I can say the coronavirus didn't affect Uganda so much,
Mm-hmm.
but it affected it socially and economically.
Mhm.
But the death rates were not so high
Mm-hmm.
compared to other countries in where maybe the disease came from. When we came out of the coronavirus pandemic, we thought things were good actually. Life was moving on well. Just last year, 2022, around September there, the Ebola virus came in.
Yeah.
So Ebola virus, it killed many people actually.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine you are coming out of the pandemic of
True.
COVID,
Yeah.
and then another disease which is having death rate so high like COVID also striking the country. So you see, it was not in the whole country but in certain districts. So what the president did was to put on a lockdown. So a lockdown was put up, and then only in certain districts they put up the lockdown. So just 2 months, it was good that after the lockdown, the 2 months around December there, the country was able to overcome, and then the World Health Organization declared the country is out of that serious thing of Ebola virus. Yeah, but it affected the education sector, because when the lockdown again was put after the lockdown of again, the schools were, some of the districts which are affected in there, the schools were closed. They couldn't operate well, and then the transport sector, people couldn't move from those districts to other districts. Economically, they were affected in that way. Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, so really tough times. That too when you have such tragedies one after the other.
Yes.
So I don't feel like ending this conversation. It is so interesting
Yes.
and so informative and enlightening.
Yes.
But we have the limitation of time, and before concluding, one final question, which was again very interesting. The families in which twins are born in Uganda, they are given some extraordinary respect. So if you could please tell us more about it. We came to know that there are special celebrations held to celebrate it.
Well, I'll say I'm a twin.
Oh.
Yeah. My other name, my family name is Isingoma. In my region where I come from, these twins, the elder twin is called Isingoma, and then the younger twin is Kato. So I'm Isingoma, I'm a twin. So when twins are born, actually they are seen as one, as a blessing, but also traditionally some people look at it as a curse. So to remove that curse, what they do, they make some rituals. So these rituals, I don't believe in them. You see, actually things are changing with the modern era. What happens, it used to happen that in the past they used to do these cultural and rituals, that when the twins are born, they have to, it's a must that the family must do these rituals. I can't explain which ritual they are, because the culture is dying now, and because of the religion, things are changing. So to remove this curse, but failure to do this ritual, what happens is the parents will face the consequence.
Mm-hmm.
When you move around my country, you'll find some people having discoloration of their skin.
Mm-hmm.
They are struck
Buns.
with, like, you can see a person who is,
Buns.
Oh,
the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
face is discolored and it's like a person who is burnt. So we call it Ayokeiwe Amahara.
Mm-hmm.
So that something has struck that person and the part of the face maybe is burnt. So that happened. Actually, it is true. It happens when they don't perform that ritual after twins have had delivered. It happens. So parents must be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, because of the religion that has come, the Christianity, what happens nowadays? People are turning out from those traditions and cultural things. Now, what they do immediately the twins are born, they take them to the church and they baptize that very moment. If they don't take them to church, maybe they invite the priest to the hospital and baptizes the twins, and that curse is no more. So when that happens, the baptism, actually, that the parents are saved. It doesn't happen to them. Yeah. So it's like that, but it's both a blessing and actually a curse, as they may perceive it, people of my country. But to me, I think it's a blessing.
Yeah.
And you see, in my region, twins have special names. All twins have special names. Like me, I'm Isingoma, and twins don't die. Twins don't
Is it
die.
true?
They fly. Twins, they fly.
Wow.
They say in my language.
Oh, you can't say the twin has died.
No, they don't say twins. They have
Oh,
died.
wow.
The twin has flied.
We just fly.
So that's, I mean, see how much of difference the words we use can make a impact.
Yes.
Right, the same thing it can be presented in two different ways, and one way is so pessimistic that someone has died,
Yeah.
and another one someone has flown away.
Yeah.
So that's really great. And again, audience, so these are the small but very insightful things that we can learn from countries across the world, and that is one of the rationales behind having this podcast. So Annette and Charles, thank you so much for giving your precious time,
You're welcome.
and I hope both of you rise from grace to greatness, and not just you, Uganda, the entire Africa,
Yes.
and all the developing countries, they reach that level of greatness.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your precious time.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're
So audience, for such very interesting discussions and deliberations, stay tuned to our channel. We will keep coming up with such discussions from countries across the world. Thank you so much for your precious time.